guys, so it's me, Tartarus Queen Dragoness. So, for the past week, Texas has been the focal point of news lately. And I, for one, am not going to be wasting my time on something so trivial. That makes people become so pessimistic about certain states. Yay, state loyalties. You see my, peppy little fist pump? No, not interested. I think anyone who is actually subbed to my channel knows how I feel about stuff like this. If you're not keen on your perceptions, then I'm sorry, you will have to suffer the rest of your life as one of those generic dense male main characters of a harem rom-com anime. With that said, I have a few stories to cover that actually deserve some attention. First being the tragic end to Casa Ruby's LGBT emergency youth shelter in Washington, D.C. After the city's Department of Human Services declined to renew a grant of $840,000. That's a lot of money. But then again, this is Washington, D.C. So it's going to be not as expensive as New York, but close. To the nonprofit organization. The group tried as hard as they can to get the amount through a GoFundMe campaign, but unfortunately only managed to acquire a laughable $101,000. That's disappointing. Um, for those of you who are going to be interested in doing their GoFundMe, it's Casa Ruby, and I'll try to look for their GoFundMe page and leave it in the description below, so you guys can help this organization out. Because of this lackluster amount of money that they received, they had to lay off half of its staff. But a spokesperson for the organization said that they will strive to provide the necessary services with continued gathering of funds on their GoFundMe page. Okay, and this is where things start to get a little bit interesting. Because when I looked into this, I saw what the rules and regulations for acquiring a grant for such organization were. But this is really weird, because the denial of funds suspiciously came 6 months after the organization filed a complaint with the city of one of its high-level officials engaging in anti-transgender discrimination acts against Casa Ruby. This is now under investigation by the DHS. If this turns out to be true, for the official, I just have one question for this person. What is your major malfunction, sir or madam? Now, in international news, Germany. Two lovely young ladies by the names of, and I wholeheartedly apologize for any of the butchering of these names, including the next story that I'm going to cover. These two women are, their names are Tessa Ganserer and I think it's Nikki Slawik. Were elected to the country's Parliament Greens Party. And a bit of history about this party. The original Green Party was formed in West Germany in 1980. The alliance was formed in East Germany in 1990. Both parties merged around the time of the Berlin Wall's collapse, and according to Wikipedia, currently holds 188 of the 735 seats. Ganserer said that she will continue to make it easier for transgender individuals to change their gender on legal documents. Currently, the transsexuality law over there, which I do believe was established in 1980, if I remember correctly, requires you to have some costly documentation in order for the country to legally change your gender on all legal documentation, including your birth certificate. On the flip side, Slawic strives to um, strives for Germans to be mindful of the issues regarding climate change and action plans against anti-LGBT discrimination and violence, which, according to a survey of last year, such crimes have increased by 36%. I did not think that Germany was that bad. Dang, Germany, you really, really, really are in a pickle, aren't you? Um, I just hope that these ladies have nerves of steel to take on this daunting task because, from the way I see it, it's going to be a long and hefty road. So, congratulations for those two ladies, and I hope they find great success. Now we move on to Florida to a high school known as Olympia High, where even, and I'm gonna butcher this last name, Evan Bioslokinia, and that's my text messaging, became the first transgender homecoming queen in history. What I got out of her short interview was that she was not so sure if this was a prank or the real thing. Because if we all know, high schoolers are kind of unpredictable in parties and big events like this. So I could see how she's a little on the fence as to the validity of this. Um, However, due to her astonishment, it was all too real, and everyone was supportive of her. The school even went as far as declaring the month of October to be LGBT Awareness Month. She even stated that an event in your life, and I'm paraphrasing here, event in your life such as this can push you to do better things regardless of your background or who you are, even being associated with the LGBT community, which is cool. I also think that this should be a thing for schools to do, to honor or to allow the honor of any woman or of any background to be a participant of being either the homecoming queen or prom queen or prom king, whatever. I think this is great. Whether other states follow this or other schools follow this, I don't know. Because to be quite honest, it's not really something I'm fully educated in. So yeah, those are the stories I actually wanted to cover this week. Mind you, that the other stories, which are being, dogged down into your own mouth lately, such as it's this whole Texas anti-LGBT laws, is just getting a little bit ridiculous, and I refuse to do stories like that for right now. However, if you want to have my opinion on something like this, you really, really, really want me to have my opinion on this, depending on how desperate you are, I probably will cover it. But for me, I just refuse to cover stories like this because it's just draining. It's draining to be covering stories that have the public outrage honestly. And the news and the media that they present to you on television or radio is just that. They just present stories like this, like the ones in Texas. Me? No. Okay? I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do that is necessary for the success and bring to light the positivity of the LGBT, or in my case, the transgender community. Um, so yeah, that's gonna be the point of this channel, and I will surely be damned if I don't fall into it. Unless if the story truly, truly deserves my attention, then I'll cover it. And until then, no. With that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I will see you next week, and Requiescat in pace.